Okay, so today we're gonna talk about Jojo. It's probably one of my favorite animes right now, currently in 2020. So before Jojo, used to be Naruto. I made a Naruto review and specifically one episode. Right now, I wanna do Jojo part one and part two review. Or actually no, possibly part three in a month, hopefully. So in part one, basically all that happened was a man named Jonathan Joestar. Um, yeah, there was this man named Jonathan Joestar, and he had a brother named, adopted brother named Dio Brando. So Dio Brando was bad and Jonathan was good. They were both really mannered, and so one day they got really mad at each other. Dio wanted to be rich, and Jonathan wanted to be Jonathan. So they fought each other, alright? So when they fought each other, hold on, let me think this. So they basically, so Dio turned himself into a vampire with a mask. Jojo or Jonathan Joestar, he basically just ran away. I mean, he didn't run away. He basically, tried to stop Dio. Dio ran away. Then, Jojo, worked out a lot, became really strong. Well, he was always strong, but he learned a technique called Hamon energy. In part three, Hamon gets completely replaced with stance, but we're focusing on part one and part two. So in part one, Jonathan gets Hamon by the help of William A. Zipili. So then yeah, so they basically go to hunt down Dio. Then they meet Tarkus and Blueford. So they basically fight Blueford. Blueford loses to Jonathan, and with Tarkus, he basically splits Willie Zipili in half and strangles Jonathan. But Jonathan lives, and William Zipili lives until he gives all of his hormone to Jonathan or Jojo. Then Jonathan just ends everything by fighting Dio and destroying him and defeating him. But you notice I put in quotations, but in the end he actually Dio lives. Him and Irina go to a cruise ship. Dio takes Jonathan's body. Irina runs away, but right underneath him was Dio all along. Dio never dies. Well, until part three, but in part two, or in part eight. Oh no, part seven. Dio comes back to life. So in part one, so what they basically do, I'm pretty sure. No, part one ends. Part two starts. It's basically Joseph. He fights off a bunch of vampires. He wins. He meets Caesar, Zipili, William is his grandson. Oh, and Joseph is um Jonathan's grandson. Joseph learns Hamon. Zipili learns Hamon from their coach Lisa, and then they basically fight ACDC. ACDC, or I like to call him ACDC, the rock band. So they basically fight him. ACDC barely, Joseph barely defeats ACDC. Then turns out the ACDC possesses Suzy Q, then a maid for Lisa. So then they save Suzy Q, ACDC finally dies. But then we go to Wamu. And there's also Wamu. Oh yeah, they also placed poison rings around Joseph. So they have a 30-day limit. When that 30 days goes, the poison it actually affects Joseph, and then Joseph dies. So he beat ACDC. So ACDC, he got ACDC's cure. So his breathing is saved. Then he fights Wamu. Barely wins against Wamu. I'm pretty sure the only reason Wamu wins, I mean Joseph beat Wamu, is because he sent a ball and the ball hit Wamu. So he basically beats Wamu and then like destroy. And then there's also Cars. Cars is a big bad person. Oh yeah, by the way, Caesar dies. Walmut kills Caesar, and then the final person's like Lisa, and Joseph. So what they do is they basically fight Cars. Cars beats Lisa, and Cars barely defeats Joseph, but Joseph ran away. And when they ran away, they used a plane. He used a plane to blow up Cars, but that didn't work. I'm pretty sure he used to not. Oh yeah, Joseph's probably the only show where German Nazis are the good people. So they go all the way to the volcano. Joseph and Nazi person, let's draw him. They push Cars out into the lava volcano. Cars dies, but then he doesn't die. He comes back, but then the lava sends him and Joseph onto a rock to space. Um, Cars goes to space. He stops thinking, and Joseph just goes down onto the sea. Susie Q saves him. Everyone thought Joseph dies. They held a funeral, but Joseph never died. And so yeah, that's part two. Oh yeah, and he also kicked a Japanese man, Joseph. So that's all for part one and part two. Part three coming up in a month. I'm only in episode six, while there's 48 episodes. So 1 month later, you'll see um oh, oh my god. You'll see part three with Jojo in it. Remember Jojo? I talked about Jojo at the beginning. So Jojo is pretty much the coolest. Jojo, my favorite Jojo's Joseph. My least favorite Jojo, probably Josuke, but Josuke is pretty cool. So yep, bye.